April 29th, a day this country has not seen for centuries. Open rebellion in the streets of an American city, Los Angeles, sparked by the outrage over a trial, fueled by what some say was police inaction.
Help! We've got shots fired.
The most vivid scene America remembers from the riots was the ordeal of one man, caught in the middle of the horror. How did he get there? Did he provoke that vicious attack? How did he survive?
This is attempted murder.
Today, for the first time, truck driver Reggie Denny talks about his ordeal and how the help of strangers and the love for his daughter saved his life.
3 o'clock, April 29th, 1992.
Not guilty. Not guilty. Not guilty. Not guilty.
Those words, "not guilty," sent the 4 white police officers charged with the beating of black motorist Rodney King from the Simi Valley courtroom free men. 4 p.m. Within an hour of the verdict announcement, a rolling blanket of rage began to engulf Los Angeles. Parker Center, LAPD headquarters. A few miles away in south central Los Angeles, the anger immediately leapfrogged beyond words. Unassuming motorists driving through the area were headed for trouble. Reporter Bob Turr covered the riots from his helicopter. He was on the scene from the very beginning.
There's terrible violence down here.
It was very obvious from those first few minutes at Florence and Normandie that we were going to see the kind of unrest that the city has not seen ever. I didn't realize it would be the worst riot in U.S. history.
To make matters worse, sensing they were overwhelmed by the crowd, at 5:45 p.m., police were ordered to leave the scene, to retreat to safety. That left the streets of Los Angeles unprotected, and this intersection at Florence and Normandie a staging area for the unruly mob. At 3:30 that same afternoon, truck driver Reggie Denny was loading up his truck with rocks to deliver to a building site in downtown Los Angeles, an hour away. He had been driving the same truck for 7 years. You take good care of your truck, Reggie would say, and it gives you a lot back. Reggie's regular route to work was the freeway, unless there was heavy traffic. As fate would have it, there was heavy traffic that day, and Reggie decided to take a shortcut by cutting through town. He found himself on Florence approaching Normandy. What would happen next at the now famous intersection would change his life forever.
This is attempted murder.
For the first time ever, Reggie Denny publicly talks about his ordeal and what actually happened to him that day.
That day, something looked different on the street, but you weren't sure what it was?
Well, when I got to the intersection, yeah, it looked way different because you got cars, broken glass, people running around, and I didn't have a clue what was going on.
A lot of people wondered if you had heard about the Rodney King verdict when you were driving down that street. Had you heard anything?
No, that day I hadn't even paid attention to the news. I usually don't. When traffic's heavy, I tend to listen to all music stations because it calms me down.
Some people wondered why you didn't try to get out of there with your truck.
There's people. You don't run people over because something's going crazy. And I wasn't about to. With 80,000 pounds of truck, there's a responsibility there that you don't become a maniac in that vehicle, because that's a lot of weight to be responsible for. That's 40 tons. You can do a lot of damage with 40 tons. And I wasn't about to leave people behind, flattened, you know, because of me. Regardless of what was going on, I just thought I'd stop, they'd get out of the way, and I'd go. It didn't work out that way.
So you realized you had a sense that you could be in danger, but you decided to stay there and take whatever was going on rather than harming...
Well, sure. I mean, I thought they were doing something. I had no clue what was going on, really, just that they had this one truck, they were cleaning it out, they had big boxes, and, you know, I got rock. What are they going to do with what I have? You know, I thought they'd just leave me, you know, I'd go through with no problem. And I had no idea it was all because of something that went on in Simi Valley. Didn't have a clue.
But Reggie was not spared. There was no logic on the streets that day. And while the crowds left the contents of his truck alone, he was nearly torn apart. The sounds and sights of what you're about to see and hear were captured on videotape and sent out live to a horrified nation.
Okay, he's moving. He's a lot of blood gushing from the man's head. They're picking his pockets now. The driver is stumbling, trying to get up, and nobody is helping the driver.
It seemed like anything available was tossed at Reggie's head. By the time the beating ended, he had suffered 96 facial fractures.
I was just startled, you know, and just thinking, you know, wow, they just broke my window, and that kind of thing. It was the sharp crashing sound, and instantly, you know, like your heart skips a beat, or I might just say my heart did. I was going, oh gosh, you know, someone's really mad, you know, and that's the end of that. And I don't recall anything after that.
Not a hand coming through or anyone pulling you out?
Nope.
Someone even fired a shotgun at him. Fortunately, it missed.
Did you ever think you were going to die?
I never even thought I was going to do anything. I just thought, we'll mosey on through here and get on down the road and, you know, wipe my brow when I get clear of this intersection, like, boy, I made it through that okay. But, of course, that never happened.
In an instant, Reggie Denny had become the flip side of the Rodney King photo, but this time it was black against white.
Unbelievable. South Central Los Angeles.
After his attack, a rumor circulated in the community that Reggie Denny had yelled out racial slurs from his truck window and that the beating was a form of retaliation.
Did you do anything or say anything to provoke your attack?
As far as what the news has been saying, it's like that. It's not in me to do things like that. I'm not that kind of person.
Unable to see, Reggie somehow managed to climb back into his truck, inching forward. He actually moved it a few feet, but that was all.
I was hit across the face, and what it did was it broke my cheek, and my eye actually dropped down inside my face, if you can imagine. Not out of my head, just down behind my skin.
So it almost disappeared?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And your teeth?
Were pushed up behind my nose, my top teeth. There were so many fractures through my face that my front teeth were actually up behind my sinuses, and the doctors had to reach up and pull them down. They thought my teeth were gone because they couldn't see them.
Fortunately for Reggie, 4 local residents who had witnessed his beating on TV rushed to the intersection to try to help him. Terry Barnett and T.J. Murphy were 2 of the rescuers.
Were you frightened?
I wasn't frightened at all. Not one bit. Just real nervous trying to get him there, just to, you know, make this street, you know, everybody's in the way. We're trying to clear traffic. But just nervous, you know, trying to get him there, to hoping that he'll make it.
From what I understand, if they would have been just a minute later, I would have been dead because my brain was hemorrhaging, which I was losing blood by the gallon.
If he had not been rescued by the folks who brought him to the back door of the emergency room in his truck at that time, probably within minutes he would have arrested and succumbed in the field.
As Reggie was fighting for his life, police gradually returned to the neighborhood. But for many, it was too late. The violence and looting had taken a huge toll, and the death count was rising. Thousands were injured. Hundreds and hundreds of uncontrolled fires whipped the night, the smell of smoke choking residents and firefighters alike.
Light Force 50 needs help. We've got shots fired.
Emergency calls for help went unanswered.
OCD from Division 2, you give us the structure fire in Alba. I have no resources here at this moment.
Against this backdrop, Reggie Denny fell into darkness. Unconscious, he hovered near death for 4 long days. These are pictures of Reggie Denny an hour after his surgery on the night of April 29th.
This is the scar from where they had to remove some bone tissue from my skull because I had a compound fracture, and that's the reason I got the dent in the side of my head, and life support. And then you see like this tube coming off with these bags here. Mm-hmm. That's where they actually tapped holes in my skull to get the blood off my brain, because my brain was, your head can't swell.
Reggie was comatose for nearly 4 days after surgery. This picture shows him just minutes after he first regained consciousness. He had no memory of what had happened to him or why he was in the hospital.
It was strange. In fact, it was almost, again, like looking and realizing there was somebody else involved in it, and just thinking something went terribly wrong in California for this to happen.
It's just a natural thing, kind of like a computer that has a glitch in it. It just has lost that piece of memory, at least temporarily. There's some potential for it to come back in the future, not too high, because of the severity of his blood clot and injury to the brain.
At first, the hospital staff tried to shield Reggie from watching TV, fearful he would see his own vicious beating, which was continuously replayed.
When you saw the video for the first time, where were you?
Oh, gosh, I don't recall. The video about me? In the hospital, the nurses were really protective. They didn't think I needed to see it, and quite honestly, I didn't want to see it. But when I saw bits and pieces, it was almost like watching somebody else. You know, I was just somebody watching somebody getting hurt. It didn't relate that it was actually me. You know, I mean, it's too weird to think that that's really happening to yourself when you're watching it. You know, I mean, that was the way I think my mind was working.
Reggie says that he was fighting so hard to survive because of his daughter, Ashley. Even though he and Ashley's mother, Shelley, are now divorced, they all remain close. Talking about the impact his beating had on Ashley makes Reggie very emotional.
I remember on a couple occasions, it was kind of sad because she would just kiss my hand because, you know, I wanted her to kiss me like on the cheek or something, but she'd say, "No, Dad, I can't kiss you there because you got too many tubes, you know, in her way because I had stuff coming off me." So she didn't want to get close to my face, and so she would kiss me on the hand. And it's, you know, when you look over and see, you know, for those who have kids, when you see your little one standing there, it really does something to you.
Makes you want to pull through all the more?
Oh, yeah, because, hey, you know, I didn't want to leave her with some sort of, you know, this is the end. I couldn't imagine that, you know.
Did you ever think that maybe he was going to die?
Yeah, the first time, because my mom called the hospital, and she said they don't know how he's doing yet.
And what did you think?
I thought I wouldn't have my dad anymore, but I have him now.
Did you ever think, why you?
No, never crossed my mind. It was just something nutty happened in the city, and I just happened to be there. That was all there was to it. It could have been any guy from Transit Mix. You know, I just happened to be the guy that passed through there first. If I had taken a break or got hung up in traffic somewhere along the line, it might have been another driver. And actually, the way as it turned out, thank God it wasn't, because, you know, I just don't think anybody needs to go through something like that.
Reggie Denny was not the only person to be severely beaten that day. Many others were too. But because Reggie's beating was so graphically depicted on camera, and because viewers saw his life ebbing away in front of their eyes, he became a symbol of the riots and a household name.
Did you see yourself at all as a hero?
I'm not a hero. I'm not even, no. I'll tell you, the heroes are like Titus, Terry, Lee, and Bobby. Those are the heroes. Not me. Not even close.
Reggie was referring to the Good Samaritans, the 4 people who risked their lives to save him.
How can a thank you be enough to tell somebody, you know, thank you for a life? I mean, they actually saved my life. If it wasn't for them, I would have bled to death right there.
Reggie isn't the only one that's grateful, so is his daughter, Ashley. In fact, Ashley has become good friends with Mimi, the daughter of one of Reggie's rescuers.
She just said, "Your dad's very nice and I care about him a lot."
So do a lot of other people. Reggie has been swamped with mail and phone calls since the beating. 40,000 calls, 25,000 cards and letters, some from as far away as Australia.
It just said, bashing victim of the riots who was pulled out of his truck I mean, and when it was seen on television, he's somewhere in Los Angeles. And this came from Australia?
Yes.
With nothing more than that?
Nothing. And just said USA.
While Reggie and his family have tried to answer all the mail, it's not been possible to thank everyone until now.
And I'd like to take this time to say thank you to all the folks who played an important part of making me smile.
And there were those who tried to do much more than just make him smile. Reggie received several letters asking for his hand in marriage.
What are they saying to you? You've become a sex symbol?
Not even close. No. No, I just barely see myself as a man. We forget the sex symbol stuff. What are you talking about? I had to borrow a guy's shirt tonight just so I could do this. What are you talking about, sex symbol?
Self-effacing Reggie says that he probably was more attractive before his beating when he still had long hair. This home video shows what he looked like then.
When you look in the mirror, do you look different to yourself these days?
I look goofy.
You think you look goofy?
Yeah, I refer to myself as a Mr. Potato Head, just, you know, the round face with the no hair. You know, it's kind of funny looking.
Reggie's hair is now growing out, and he faces another operation, this time to implant a steel plate on the side of his head. He still wears a compression stocking to keep blood clots from going to his lungs, and the nerves in his eyes are damaged. But even with all of this, he says he's a very grateful man, and he now knows more clearly than ever what is really important.
One of the biggest things that has changed is realizing how much we all need each other. I think that's the biggest change in my life.
America watched in horror as truck driver Reggie Denny was nearly beaten to death in the Los Angeles riots. Now, for the first time, this gentle and courageous man tells Inside Edition about his struggle to recover and his dream for his daughter and their future. The Reggie Denny interview continues.
Ready? Got it? Okay.